Well, welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast. It's the one you don't want to miss. It stars Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. Let's not forget Kathy Godsey and all the old friends that come along. Lord, we'll be talking Skynyrd and leaving you with a song.
Alrighty then, looky here. We got podcast number 70 of the Stone Roadie Show, and we're action. Alrighty then, looky here. We got us a couple of guests. We got my son Chad on today. He's been on a couple of times, and we got Mike OWINGS on with us today, and I met Mike at Whitey's fish camp. He come up and introduced himself to me, and he said I was with the Alan Collins band, and I said, "No, you weren't." And he, "Oh yeah, I was." And then he started. I said, "Oh, you come around after I had left," and I went. Yeah. I went back to work with Marshall Tucker, and you came in when Steve Reynolds was the drummer, you were the guitar player, and then I knew
Andy Ward King was the bass player.
Yeah. That was he was trying to put something together, but Mike Owens, and he's a heck of a guitar player. But we got him on today, and then of course we got my regular co-host, the rocket scientist, Mr. Griff Martin, and of course my name is Craig Reed, and they also call me, which is AKA the Stone Roadie, and they also say I'm the most famous roadie that ever existed on the face of Earth since the dawn of time. And how about that? Just because I worked for Lynyrd Skynyrd and was on that airplane crash with him, but I'll take whatever I can get. But we don't know what we're doing today. What I do know is it's my grandson's 18th birthday party here today. And cool. Chad, he's trying to get all arranged for that, and I've been all dazed and confused here. We were supposed to start a little bit ago, but Jeff's here, and he said he was going to rig me up with an active green screen thing going on, but we couldn't get that to happen. So we're gonna mosey on with the show, and we don't know what we're going to talk about, but that we never do. It always comes out to be an hour and a half, but I don't think we can do it for an hour and a half today. I don't think Chad's got time, and unless we can get to Mike talking, and Chad can get up and make the potato salad and listen to us, and he can yell from the kitchen.
Man, if y'all got some banana pudding, I'll tell you everything I know.
we going out, man.
Okay, I think we're gonna. Griff, you got anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, I know when I turned 18, my dad gave me a 20 and sent me down to the massage parlor. So I don't know, what you're doing for well,
that year.
But Tanner, he needs to take it easy though, because he got that bad wrist. So you need to send him down there. But hey, we're really glad to have Mike OWINGS here, man. This guy. Hey, Mike, you got that guitar? Throw a lick out, man.
Hold on,
throw
man.
a lick
Something
out.
popped up on the screen here. I don't know what it's cancel. Let's hit cancel. Yeah, there we go. What do you need now? A lick?
Just throw us a lick, man.
All right. Hold your.
Now this guy can play guitar. He's Alan Collins trained.
How about that, huh? I know.
All
Lou.
right.
How about that?
So, Craig, when I ran into Mike down there at Whitey's, and he told me the best Alan Collins story I ever heard.
Oh.
Now, this guy's all kinds of stories. Mike?
Every day was a story, man.
How did you meet? Alan?
I met Al. I was working. Oh, geez, I don't even know what year it was. It was after the plane crash. I was working at Jack's Liquors down on San Jose
A good
Boulevard.
place to meet Alan.
Yeah, man. He came out and said, "Hey, man, fuck, I'm a big fan, man. How you doing?" And I didn't see him for a long time. And then I was in Discount Music playing guitar one day, checking out a guitar, and a guy named Chip James worked there. And he came over. He goes, you should play in the Alan Collins band. I said, I think you're right. Led Zeppelin's not Collins, so. And he goes, no. He goes, man, the band fell apart, and he's putting a new band together. He says, man, go out there, look him in the eye, and tell him, you want to play guitar with him. I said, okay. So I did. And I went to Alan's house. He buzzed me through the gate. I walked to the garage, to the den, and there he was. I said, hey, man, I hear you're putting a new band together. He says, well, I might be. I said, well, I hear you're looking for a new guitar player. Well, I might be. I said, well, look no farther, Jack. I'm your man. He goes, oh, you are, huh? I said, yeah. I said, let's go out back and spank the plank. I hear you got a studio out there. I said, if you don't like what I got, I'll leave you the fuck alone, never bother you again. He goes, well, I like that. And I'm like, well, come on, smart ass, let's go. And we went, and 4 hours later, he calls the bass player and drummer and said, we got a new guitar player. Get your fucking ass here. And they showed up, and that's our new guitar player, Mike Owings. Introduce yourself. And they came over, and I met the band, and we started rehearsing that night. That was March of '84.
Did he remember you from the first time you met him?
Not really, no? Man. I mean, just another fucko, at the liquor store. Yeah.
So all you up and coming guitar players, man, then you just need to just figure out who your idol is and just go up and knock on the door and go, hey, man, I'm your guitar player.
I mean, timing is everything. I mean, it was like, I had no idea, my buddy Chip James, he owns Chip's Music in Jacksonville, and he's the one that he knew about it. I didn't know shit. And he said, man, go to his house and fucking tell him what you want to do, man. I said, okay. So I did. And that was that. So
you started playing with him.
I moved in with him, man. He wanted me to help him with his drinking and shit. So I said, okay, sure. He said, I can move in upstairs across the hall from Amy and Allison. He said, that's where Steve Gaines stayed when he was here. And I was like, no, I said, man, I'm up and down all night, man. I said, let me stay in the studio. You got a couch in there and a bathroom and shit. I said, let me stay out there. He goes, okay, whatever you want to do. So I stayed out in the band room, and I played guitar all the time. That's all I did.
So when you say help him with his drinking, go get the liquor for him.
Yeah. It's like, you help me, quit drinking, and, I'll show you things you never dreamed of. And I was like, okay. And he sure fucking did. Wow. There's things we can't even talk about,
So here's another interesting tidbit. Mike and Chad knew each other for a long time. And,
at the beach.
And didn't even know, he didn't even know that Craig was Chad's father until Whitey's the other day when we were
in Celebration Life.
I met Mike at Alan's house, and I went down to Alan's house, and Mike and Alan were screaming at each other. And Alan was telling, man, why don't you just take your ass home, man? Just take your ass home.
I think we got into a fist fight. Didn't we?
Yeah, you guys were hollering at each other.
Fucking
and Mike said, well, I ain't got no goddamn car to get home. He goes,
what?
Chad lives at the beach. He'll give you a ride. So I had to listen to Mike bitch all the way back down to the beach. Fucking how big of a jackass Alan is.
What was the argument about, Mike?
Fuck, I don't remember. Some dumb shit, man. We stayed down at the beach partying for a fucking week, and he finally brings me back, and I was like, where the fuck you been? I said, hey, you told me to get the fuck out, so I was gone. I thought you'd come back the next day. I'm like, man, what the fuck, dude? I said, Jesus Christ, Alan. He goes, well, I don't even know what we were fighting about. I said, I don't either, but what the fuck, man?
Yeah,
there was one time we were driving
he only ended up being like 3/4 of a mile away from it.
Yeah, but once I joined the band, I moved into the studio, and I was living out there, and remember one time we were coming back from somewhere and we were going over the Buckman Bridge, and I was driving this Lincoln Town Car, 76 Lincoln Town Car. It's like a fucking aircraft carrier. And out of nowhere, Alan reaches over and bitch slaps the shit out of me, man. I stopped the fucking car on the bridge and I'm like, what the fuck? And I jumped out and I walked around the car and I was trying to open the door. I was going to throw his ass off the bridge and he locked the door. He goes, what are you doing? I said, what the fuck did you hit me? He goes, well, I just want to see what you do. I said, well, you're fixing to find out, motherfucker. And I started punching the window and it wouldn't break, man. I mean, fucking Lincolns are good. And he goes, you're scaring me. I said, you need to be scared. He goes, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to throw your ass off this bridge and see if you can fly, free bird. Motherfucker, bitch slap me. He goes, oh, man, fuck. I'm like, open the door. He goes, you got to promise not to hit me. I said, I promise. He goes, I need your word. I said, I give you my word. I ain't going to hit you. He unlocked the door. I went back and got in. And I drew back like I was going to hit him. He said, you promised. I said, look, what the fuck do you? He goes, I just wanted to see what you would do. He goes, I had no idea he goes, I ain't been scared like that since Ronnie Van Zant. He goes, motherfucker. I was like, man, are you out of your fucking mind? I said, don't you ever do that again, man. I will kill you and fucking kill you again.
Did he ever try to grab the wheel and roll the car?
Oh, all the time, man. Stomp his foot on the gas. Man, I burned out the brakes in that fucking Lincoln coming down Plummer Grant Road, man. I was like, if I said, you got a death wish, man, do it on your own. Don't take me with you, fucker. You know, he did that shit to everybody, man. That's what got him fucked up, you know?
Yeah, he did it to Gene.
Grabbing the wheel or stomping on the gas. And, you know.
Gene said he did it to him and he knocked the hell out of him.
Yeah, fucking does it to everybody.
I
frogged his ass. I fucking frogged his ass on the leg, man, and he fucking let go, buddy. He was fucking in pain for 3 days. I frogged the shit out of him. I said, man, fuck you and your bullshit, man. Knock that shit off. You're going to kill somebody, buddy.
Craig, did he ever slap you and just to see what you would do?
No, he never hit me, but he put his damn foot down on the accelerator.
Yeah.
Every time
he let me drive that
in the car with him, yeah. Oh yeah, like Mike said, he burned out the brakes. Yeah, you have to stand on the brakes. He had the gas all the way down to the floor.
Oh yeah, man.
And to keep from running the cars in front of you, you had to stand on the brakes.
He let me drive Dixie Blue one time, man. We went up to the store to get cigarettes, and you can't shut the ignition off because you need something to, you know, like a generator or something to start it. And so I had to leave it running while I'm pumping gas. He went and got cigarettes, and I got through pumping gas, and the fucking thing backfired. And there was this huge ball of flame coming out of the pipes. And I looked in the store and you could see everybody's face. The color drained. They all turned white. The guy picked up the phone. He was calling the cops. Alan goes, let's get the fuck out of here. He's calling the cops. So we're hauling ass down Plummer Grant. And you could hear the sirens. He goes, you better not get caught. And man, we hauled ass and he opened the gate and we went around back and we went inside and he looked on the TV and you can see the cops. There's 2 cop cars at the gate. They're going, we know it's you, Alan. Open the gate. And he's just like, fuck you. He says, boy, I got to drive that fucker though, man. That was nice, man.
Hey, even that, or he'd go to the neighbor's house and he'd go back and park at the neighbor's house and go through that little pass the fence right there.
Well, here's that story that Griff likes so much. One of his next door neighbor to the right, if you're looking at the street, was a guy named Haas. He was the head of the Miami Serpentarium in Miami, and he'd always bring these fucked up poisonous snakes home and fix them up. And every now and then, I guess he left the back door open and they'd slither out and come under the fence and end up in Alan's yard. I was on the trampoline one day, just fucking sunning, you know, digging it. And I saw this movement out of the right peripheral of my eye towards the fence. And I looked over, I see the grass moving like a snake. And I sat up and this fucking snake reared up and it blew its fucking hood out. It was a cobra. And I'm like, what the fuck? I said, there ain't no cobras in Florida. I jumped off the trampoline. I said, oh man, I ran into Alan's den. I said, I better not jump in the pool because I don't know if they can swim. I said, I ran in there and Alan was sleeping in the Barker Lounge and I shook him. I said, hey man, I ain't drunk, I ain't high, and ain't tripping. You got a fucking cobra in your backyard. He goes, hand me the phone. He calls the guy next to you. He goes, another one of your goddamn snakes that got loose. I got kids over here. He goes, you better come and get this motherfucker. I'm going to shoot it. And he reached under the Barker Lounge and pulled out a 357. I'm like, God damn, Alan. He goes, come on. We went in the dining room and looked through the window. Here comes this little old man with a fucking pillowcase and a long stick pole, and he wrangles a 14-foot king cobra, puts it in a bag, twists it up, and goes, sorry, and he waves and shit. And me and Alan looked at each other. I said, man, if we only had a video camera, man. I said, what in the fuck? I ain't never walking out there without lights on and a gun in my hand. Fuck that shit.
Oh man, that old mama gator back there in the back.
Oh, the she gator. That was a 12-foot.
Gator, yeah.
She caught me out on the fucking boat dock one time, man. I was out there for 4 hours till the sun went down. 12-foot, man. That's the biggest fucking gator I ever seen in my life, man. She had
she blocked you from getting to the house?
Yeah, until the sun went down and it was a full moon. It was a full moon, and I couldn't tell if she was there or not. And I said, I'm going to jump as far as I can and take one step and jump over the fence, and I did. But she was nowhere. She already left. But scared the fuck out of me, man.
Me and Amy used to go back there in the goat cart, my little Suzuki 50. We'd ride back there, and we knew we got close to that water, that thing would come out the water. There it is.
Yeah, man. I used to take Amy and Allison to school and pick them up every day, man. They were sweet kids, man. Good kids. I miss them.
So, when you were playing with Alan, wasn't who was the drummer?
Steve Reynolds.
That's what I thought.
Robert Nix would come over about right before we'd finish rehearsing, and he'd hang out, and then the drummer and the bass player would go home, and then Robert Nix would jump on the drums, and we'd jam for hours and tell stories, and I'd listen to all this shit, man, and then we'd leave, and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck? And he'd do this like every night. Couldn't believe it, man. Robert Nix, man, he was awesome, man. I mean, Atlanta Rhythm Section, Roy Orbison's Candyman. Are you shitting me? That was a trip, man. Guy could really play the shit out of the drums, man.
And you got to hang out with Ed King too, right?
Yeah, man. Ed was my buddy, man. What a cool guy that guy was, man. What a killer guitar player.
He kind of told you that he didn't really know Alan on a personal.
He said, I told him how Alan got me off cocaine, man. And he says, man, you should write a book. He said, I didn't know Alan that way. I only knew him from like rehearsal at Hell House and the stage and the studio and the bus. He goes, I was like an outsider. He goes, Gary and Alan grew up. They were best friends. And Ronnie says, the only reason I was there is because Ronnie Van Zant wanted me there. And he said, but you look at that picture of Hell House where they're all standing in front of Hell House. Ed King's on the other side of the door and the rest of the band's on the other side of the door. He goes, that'll tell you how it was, man. I was like, no shit. He goes, yeah. He says, but it was fun, but damn,
But you didn't ever hear Alan talk any trash about Ed or anything, did you?
Oh, fuck no, man. No. When I was actually, Alan told me, he said, I kept telling him, man, I want to be in the band. I want to be in the. He goes, well, I can't just say, I want to bring Mike Owings in the band because he said Gary kick a fuck. Well, I know a guy. He said, you know how band politics are. He goes, you just keep in touch with me, and one day I'll tell you when they're all there. You just kind of show up and party a little bit and end up in the band room. He says, I better get a call the next day saying, hey, we got a new guitar player. I said, right on. Well, I was on my way there and got in a car wreck, was in a coma for 10 days. Alan actually came to my fucking hospital room and said, you better catch yourself, lucky motherfucker. I don't ever go to the hospital unless I'm on a stretcher. He goes, I just want to see if you're telling me the truth. He goes, I talked to your doctor out there. You died on the table. They had to shock you back. He says, you're lucky to even be alive. I said, well, I want my audition. He goes, I know you don't want to hear this. He said, but you're not going to be in Lynyrd Skynyrd. I'm like, what? I sat up and started picking cotton out of my cast. I'm like, I can fucking play. He goes, calm down, you crazy motherfucker. He said, we got Ed King back in the band. I was like, fuck, sucks to be me. Bobby Ingram saved my arm. They almost amputated my right arm, man. Within an hour, Bobby Ingram saved my right arm. He's
that must be a Jacksonville thing. They're going to amputate your arm all the time.
I don't know, man, but I was in there 3 fucking days. I was in there 3 days, butt naked on a steel gurney over in triage. I guess the wreck had knocked my wallet out of my pants. And Bobby showed up and said, is he dead? And he goes, we don't know who he is. We're not going to touch him. He goes, I'll tell you who he is. He's the next guitar player in Lynyrd Skynyrd. And this time tomorrow, he's going to own this hospital. And you're going to have to work for him the rest of your life. And he's a fucking prick. So they called the hospital administrator, called
London,
the head guy down at Shands Hospital in Gainesville, and orthopedic doctor. And he came up and they paid him $67 grand to fix my right arm. Put me in a private room, man. I didn't have fucking insurance, And I was in there. Once I woke up and Alan came and saw me, I was like, I'm out of here. I fucking hate hospitals, man. So I got the fuck out of there,
So once you were, you were playing music with Alan and everything. And when did everything go south when he got jacked up?
He was drunk, passed out upstairs one night, and I was out in the studio. And I came in to get a glass of tea or something, and there was a fucking LeBaron at the fucking front gate, and the guy's ringing the shit out of the buzzer. So I buzzed him in. I told him to drive out back. Well, I meet him. It's this little fucking bald-headed fucker in a seersucker suit with a briefcase, and we go in the studio. And he goes, "I'm from MCA. I've been sent out here to give Alan Collins this notice." I said, "Well, Alan's not here." I said, "I'm Mike Owings' guitar player." I said, "Give it to me, and I'll make sure Alan gets it." Well, he opens his briefcase up and pulls out this piece of paper saying, "Well, there's been a change of heads at MCA, and they view the Alan Collins band as a dinosaur." And I snatched that paper. I said, "Man," I said, "you know how much money they made for that fucking company?" I said, "You got about 3 seconds to get in your fucking LeBaron rent-a-car and get the fuck out of here, or I'm going to introduce you to that fucking sheet gator out back." He got in the car and split, and I gave that to Alan the next morning, man, and he was pissed the fuck off. He fired me, fired the whole band. He says, "I'm going to put Lynyrd Skynyrd back together," and he called Paul Rogers.
With sound check, what it say?
Hey, Craig, man, we can't hear the story.
Yeah, man. Fuck.
You're talking too loud.
It's his bath is more important. Loud?
Yeah.
We can hear you, fucker. Yeah.
Did you hear?
So he fired everybody, and
he fired everybody, and he was going to put Lynyrd Skynyrd back together and call it Lynyrd Skynyrd 2. He called Paul Rogers in England, and Paul said, "Man, I'd love to." He says, "But I got 3 years left under contract with the firm. I haven't sung with them for a year." He goes, "If I breach my contract, that's $3 million, and I got 2 girls in college. I can't afford it, but good luck, and thanks for thinking of me, mate." And he goes, "Well, say hello to the girls." And he hung up, and he goes, "Well, that's that." But he was the first one he called, man. And I listened to that phone. He had him on speakerphone. I listened to it. I was fucking blown away. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Oh, you heard the conversation on speakerphone?
Goddamn right, I did, man. Hell yeah.
Damn. You should have said, "Hey, can I just say hi to Paul real quick?"
Nah. I mean, I don't play that shit. That's their business, man. I told him, I said, "I want to be a part of that." He goes, "Yeah, you and a million other fucking guitar players." I said, "I don't give a fuck about the million other guitar players." So that would have been a great band. He said, "They're all there. They're all there at the production house on Cassette." He says, "Go up there, just kind of hang out, party a little bit, make your way to the band room." And I bet I get a phone call the next day saying we got a new guitar player. Well, I was on my way, and the guy driving me fucking fell asleep at the wheel. We got in a car wreck. I was in a coma for 10 days. Almost lost my right arm. Bobby Ingram saved it. A lot of people have contention with Bobby Ingram because he's a great businessman. But I'm gonna tell you what, man. He saved my right arm. I wouldn't have been able to play with David Allen Coe or Molly Hatchet if it wasn't for Bobby Ingram. So
you toured with David Allen Coe for a year, right?
Yeah, and with Molly Hatchet for a year. We were on the
what year was that?
99 and 2000 with Molly Hatchet. We were on the Charlie Daniels Volunteer Jam Tour with Marshall Tucker and Hank Williams Jr. And then when I was with David Allen Coe was 2013?
Yeah.
2013, 2014. I was supposed to go to the Miami get on a cruise ship with Kid Rock to do the Chillin' the Most cruise to the Bahamas, but there was a problem of contention with David Allen's wife and another couple going to fly out to Shreveport after we got back. And I said, they wanted to kick my wife off the thing. I said, "Well, if she don't go, I don't go." And I remember David Allen said, he goes, "Man, I'm worried that Kid Rock's going to see you play and he's going to hire you." I said, "Well, if you're so fucking worried about it, pay me what Kid Rock would pay me." He's like, "Fuck you." I was like, "Man, relax," But I ended up leaving the David Allen Coe band and just kind of played with Second Shot locally in Shantytown and Southern Rock's finest, but nothing major, man. Just playing clubs and bars.
So when that guy from MCA came and pissed Alan off, and he kicked everybody out of there.
Pissed me off, man. Alan was passed out upstairs. I had to give him the paper the next morning. I was sitting in the dining room eating a bowl of tequila and Cheerios. Alan said, "What you eating?" I said, "Tequila and Cheerios." He goes, "Bullshit." And he tasted it. He goes, "Man, that's pretty good." I said, "Fix a bowl." I even wrote a song about it called Tequila and Cheerios. Mike Kinnaman has it in his safe in Nashville.
So whenever he fired everybody, then you didn't go to his house anymore?
Yeah, every now and again, man. But it's like, I went over there with Bob Gaines one time, man, and all he kept doing was gawking at Bob Gaines because he thought he saw a ghost. Because, when Steve Gaines joined the band, he lived at Alan's house, and it just freaked him out and kind of freaked Bob out. So I didn't think about that,
So how much longer after that was it that Alan got in a wreck and got paralyzed?
Oh, fucking shit. 10 years, I guess.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
So for a 10-year period, then
I'd go and see him every now and again. You know, I mean, there was this one time, man, Alan, I looked all over the fucking house for him. I couldn't find him. I searched the property, he wasn't there. Because I'd always drive him wherever he wanted to go. And he comes into the fucking den with a black eye. I'm like, where in the fuck you been, man? He goes, well, I wanted to go down to the bar and shoot some pool. I'm like, oh, I would have took you. He goes, I wanted to walk. I needed some time to myself. I said, okay. I said, where'd you get the fucking black eye? He said, well, I was shooting pool with this chick. She was a hot chick, man. And, you know, we were shooting pool and everything was going good. Then her old man walked in from work. And I asked him, I said, hey, man, can I fuck your wife? And the guy fucking punched me in the eye. I'm like, you think? I was like, well, he might have said yes. I was like, man, you ain't right, boy. You ain't right. You got to get off that whiskey, buddy. Fucking crazy motherfucker.
So how did he get Alan Collins get you off of cocaine? That just don't sound right.
He says, you got a problem with cocaine? I said, yeah, I do. And he goes, well, I'll fix that. And he called up this fucking dealer that he knew and spent $25,000 on cocaine. And it took us a week to do this shit. And at the end of the week, I was done. And it was a Saturday morning. We were watching Speed Racer, eating fucking Cheerios. And Larkin come in, he was going to mow the yard that day. He'd always come over every week and mow Alan's yard. He comes in, because he handled the money for the band and shit. He comes in, God damn it, Alan, who the fuck drinks $25,000 worth of Coca-Cola? Man, we busted out laughing. Alan shot a Cheerio and milk out of his nose, and I fell on the floor laughing. Alan goes, no, Daddy, that's cocaine. I was like, holy shit, I can't fucking believe it. He goes, you dumb son of a bitch, you don't put coke in the memo. He goes, fuck you, old man, I got to know what I'm spending my money on. He says, and you work for me. If you don't get the fuck out there and mow my yard, you're fired. And Larkin looked at me and goes, you're a bad influence on my boy. I said, can I get that on a t-shirt? Fuck, I'm a bad influence on Alan Collins. You're going to be shitting me. He left and I said, man, I'm about to have a fucking out-of-body experience. I said, man, what the fuck just happened? He goes, fuck that old man. He says, he left me and my mom when I was 8 years old and ran off with some chick, man, from Winn-Dixie. He was a meat broker. And he said, I didn't see him until I was in a hospital in Mississippi after the plane crash. I look up and see this lurch-looking motherfucker got his arm on my shoulder. He looked at me and said, who the fuck are you? He goes, I'm your daddy, and I ain't never leaving you again. And he never did, you know. He took over, you know, he was like the manager of Roston Collins Band and Alan Collins Band, and he was the guy that got the money. And,
so you did so much cocaine that you got sick of it.
Fuck yeah, man. I haven't done any since, and that was fucking 1984, you know.
So it's kind of like your dad did when he caught you smoking a cigarette. He made you smoke a whole pack.
My dad died when I was 10. I didn't smoke then.
Well, I mean anybody's dad.
But yeah, you know, oh, you like to smoke? Let me buy you a cart. And you smoke every fucking one until you puke. Yeah, you never smoke again. That was sort of the idea of that, but it worked. It fucking worked. He goes, hey, if that ain't enough, I'll spend another 25 grand. I'm like, no, that's okay. I'm good.
But it did make Alan quit.
No. He could do more drugs than anybody else. He thought, you know, no, he could fucking do more drugs than anybody. And, you know, the funny story Dave Lubeck told me, him and Alan and Gary were working at Dixie Donuts down on Blanding across from Woolworths where Mrs. Collins worked. And Dave said he was late and he come into work and he walked in the back. Alan was over in the corner drooling, sniffing airplane glue. And Gary was pissing in the hopper of the fucking lemon filled donut shit. And one time, man, Dave would stay with us, man, out when I lived in Callahan. I bought some Krispy Kreme donuts and I said, here, Dave, you want a donut? He goes, fuck you. I ain't never eaten a donut again. I'm like, what? He goes, let me tell you a story. And he told me the story about Gary pissing in the hopper. He goes, I haven't eaten a donut since then. I'm like, man, that's fucked up. You know, but you know how kids are, man. They're just fucking bored and stupid, you know.
And then there's the story about the corn cob and the pig's ass.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, Craig, did you ever go out to Gary's place for the April Fool's party?
Gary Rossington's house for the April Fool's party?
Yeah, no, man. He'd always have a party. Man, the last one I went to, actually the only one I went to was in '84, and they had a pig that was roasted, a whole pig, and they had an apple in his mouth and a corn cob wrapped in tinfoil shoved up the pig's ass. And they handed out tickets, and it's usually some pretty young blonde thing that, oh, I won. They come up on stage and fucking you get up on this little rickety stage, man, they built. And She goes, what did I win? She goes, well, you get to pull the corn cob out of the pig's ass and peel the fucking shit back and let the steam go and then take a bite of it. Then the party starts. And this chick goes, that's gross. And I was busting out laughing. And they said, yeah, it looks gross, but it's clean. The pig's clean. The corn's clean. You know, it's wrapped in tinfoil. The apple in his mouth is clean. It just looks fucked up, but we're not starting a party until you fucking do it. So she peeled it and everybody went ape shit. And she took a bite out of it and everybody went fucking nuts, man. And the band started and it was like, it was a big party and shit, you know. April Fool's party, man.
So
They started that in 76, I believe.
So Gary was the one up on stage egging her on to do it, huh?
No. I don't know where Gary was. I think he was in the house somewhere watching reruns. I Love Lucy.
Yeah, I don't
know, but he
remember
wasn't there. And the one time Alan drove, he got a new what the fuck was it? A new Oldsmobile. Whatever kind of Oldsmobile he liked. Tornado.
Tornado. That's the one he gave me. The white one.
Yeah. No, I don't know. He cranked it up and it didn't start on the first crank. And then when he finally got it started, he backed it up and he ran it into the creek. And fucking Clay County Sheriff, I believe, was there. And he said, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, as much money I spent on this fucking car and it won't crank on the first one. He goes, fuck it. You want it, you get it out of the creek. And the guy got it out of the creek and had it cleaned up and fixed. And he's still driving it today.
It was completely submersed in the creek.
Yep.
In the creek.
Yep. And the guy. And the
now, what year? What year are you talking about?
I don't know. Between 76 and 84. I don't know.
Oh damn!
I was gone during then. He's talking about
really?
the time when I was gone.
Shit, you was gone during all the fun shit, man.
Must not have been the same.
Yeah, that's why.
I bet the 70s. Man, I'd love to hear the stories about the 70s. Alan told me a few of them. Can't repeat them on here, but holy shit. Osaka, Japan was one of them, and that's all I'll say about that.
See, Chad and I weren't around at the same times when you and Chad were around, and that's why we never.
And I never
I started going back around
nothing.
there.
Chad never said nothing, and neither did Alan. That you're his dad.
I started going back over to Alan's house. I was going over to Alan's house a lot in 87, 86, 87. And then all the way up. Well,
yeah, because I joined the band in 84, March of 84. And it lasted about a year. And then MCA showed up and fucking kicked us off the roster, and that pissed Alan off. He said the same thing I said to the guy that showed up. He goes, you know how much money I made for those motherfuckers? I'm like, yeah, I said the same thing. I said, this is bullshit. You know, he goes, fuck them. He goes, I'll show their ass. And that's when he called Paul Rogers. He's going to put the band back together. He called Gary in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Called Artemis in fucking Israel, Jerusalem, or wherever the fuck he was at. I don't know. And he's like, I'm putting the band back together. So I want to be a part of that. He goes, yeah, you and a million other motherfuckers. I said, I don't care about them. You know, and I was on my way over there October 9th, 1985, and got in a fucking car wreck and was in a coma. I was almost died. Almost had my arm amputated, man. You know.
Well, you know, I mean, it happened for a reason, because there might have been another plane crash or something, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, who the fuck knows? You know, he might have ran up to the pilot and hit the gas. Come on, let's go. I mean, you couldn't predict what the fuck he would do. You know?
Hey, Mike, you still got them Firebirds?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
they're getting set up right now.
Mike's Firebird is the first Firebird I ever played.
Yeah, man. I remember that. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, Chad, when you walked up to me at Whitey's, man. I haven't seen you in like 30 years or so, man. And I was like, you went, Mike? I went, Chad? And then you reach over and tap Craig and went, Dad? And I went, Dad? What the fuck? I just met Craig Reed. I'm like, what? Then it fucking dawned on me. I'm like, man, you can't make this shit up and put it in a movie, man. It's unbelievable, man. It was a good day, man. It was definitely a celebration of life for Gary Roston, man.
Yeah,
I know Brandon Camp.
Was awesome.
I know Brandon Camp or Brandon Miller sitting back going, he's got my shirt on. It was laying up here.
This is Alan Collins' shirt.
My
original shirt that I had, I burned up. I got too close to the gas stove and it caught fire. So Mary Fillingham sent me another one. That's sweet.
Yeah, you gave the other one to Danny Joe Brown.
Well, Larkin gave me two of them. He gave me one with a blue sleeve and one with just a white T-shirt. And I gave the white T-shirt to Danny. He said it's kind of tight.
Just so everybody knows, that's my idea for that logo there. I said,
Really?
Al,
Yeah.
a Stratocaster.
You know, my logo. I got a band called
Stratocaster
Jackson.
made into a rail
Hot rod.
dragster pulling a
Yeah,
wheel.
fucking hot
Yeah.
rod. Yeah.
He
Well,
goes,
the
"Yeah,
same guy
man."
that did
So
that logo,
yeah.
Raymond Allen Turknet, he did my logo for my band, Jacksonville Slim and Express Train. That's the name of my band.
Yeah,
So,
but that was my
three-piece.
idea. That the Strat made
Yeah,
into a
but
dragster.
Raymond Allen
or whatever.
Turknet, he goes
Yeah.
by Rat. Rat did my logo too. And he said,
With a
"You're
small
the last
block
one I want to
Chevy
get
in
for."
it.
Yeah. Well, mine's a fucking express train coming out of an amplifier with like a Hemi, engine on it that's on flames. And, I'll
Batman
send
and
you the
Robin
logo.
do these?
Huh?
Batman and Robin used to do the shirts for the Ross and Collins band. I thought they did it for the Alan Collins band too.
No,
Burt
this
Ward
is the artist. This is the artist that did the Alan Collins band logo, and he did, I think, a couple of 38 special ones. He did, for some other guys, but I'm the last one that
was it Adam West and Burt Ward had a t-shirt company or something, a printing company?
I don't know. They were in Batman. I used to watch them when I was a kid on TV.
Well, back when that T-shirt was made, I think Don Garlitz and Don Perdome, those guys were big Formula car and rail runners, and that was like a big thing. All of us, we used to draw those dragsters, when we were in school, and they were easy to draw, and that's what
they were,
that
man. I
kind of
remember
reminds.
drawing that stuff when I was a kid, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's into dragsters and motorcycles.
Yeah, now they're into man buns.
Right there.
Man buns. Rock your man bun, motherfuckers. Yeah, hey, whatever.
Hey, Griff, see that?
Yeah.
They used to do the t-shirts.
They did?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Trying to kill me over here.
Yeah, Burt Ward and Adam West.
Chad's got one of these too. Yeah. See that?
You got this book? You guys got this book? Guitar Greats of Jacksonville.
Are you in it?
Yeah, that's why I'm holding it up. Shit, that's Bobby Ingram, Jeff Carlisi. I don't know who these guys are, but there's Derek Trucks and Dickie Betts. But I think Craig Reed had something to do with these guys. I don't know. It's called Guitar Greats of Jacksonville by Michael Ray Fitzgerald. He's written like 5 books, and a couple of books are on guitar players out of Jacksonville. He was in a band called Mike Angelo and the Idols. He had a cool song in 1980 called "Fuck Everybody," and Andy Ward King, the bass player from the Alan Collins band when I was in it, played with him. And Mike Angelo and the Idols. He's a cool dude, man. A lot of information. It's like Larry Steele's book, as I recall.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what did you get a big page in the book written
Not
about
to
you?
get a page, man. I gotta mention. I think I'm on 102 here. 104, 102. It says talking about Bobby Ingram, and it says Brown left Rum Creek after about a year. Blah blah. Joined Hatchet, Rum Creek, Jacksonville guitarist Scott Montgomery, who later joined new wave group The Filters. They opened up for Ross and Collins band at Jacksonville Coliseum. The Filters. I was there for that shit. That was cool. Guitarist Mike Owings, who had worked with the Alan Collins band as well as David Allan Coe, had also been a member. Owings praises Ingram's work. Bobby is easily one of the best guitar players in Jacksonville, which is true,
So, hey, Mike,
Jacksonville's had so many killer guitar players, man. I mean, Dwayne Allman. I mean, I know he's from Daytona, but he lived in Jacksonville. When they put the Allman Brothers band together, they were living in Riverside.
When you were playing with Alan, did you guys do any gigs and stuff?
No, didn't do any gigs, man. Never got that far. The band broke up, and MCA dropped us. So we never got to do anything. We were writing, and we were still looking for other players, but at the same time, Alan was knee deep in his addictions, man, and we were trying to help him, but like he told me, you can't help somebody that don't want to help themselves, man. So
yeah, I think
the tragedy with the car wreck and him getting paralyzed and his girlfriend getting killed, it kind of all went downhill from then.
I kind of remember Craig telling me that ARTIMUS was saying, "How come Alan don't want me playing in the band?" And then Craig said, "You don't want to be in that band right now. It's not a good. Yeah. It's not a good experience."
Yeah, it was. Man, when I was in the band for about a year, we were trying to work towards writing songs for an album, and at the same time looking for other players. He didn't want 3 guitar players. He only wanted me and him. Which I thought was, whatever, man. I played in bands with 3 guitar players, and 2 drummers and all that shit. I was like, man, whatever, man, it's your band, whatever the fuck you want. But, you know, I'm glad to be a part of it. We're actively looking for a singer and a keyboard player. I actually had a friend of mine come up from Sanford to audition, but Alan was passed out in the room and he didn't show up. So, you know, my buddy showed up and said,
did
"Fuck it."
Alan give you any cool shit, keepsakes
Yeah,
or anything?
he gave me on my 25th birthday when I first joined the band. He had a 54 Strat. I guess it's the one that he played at the Old Grey Whistle Test in England, and it was over in the corner and a bunch of spider webs on it. And I said, man, can I play that? He goes, that's a 54. I said, I don't give a shit. Can I play it? He goes, yeah. So every night at rehearsal, I'd play it, and he'd go, put my guitar down. I'm like, man, this guitar needs to be played. You know, what are you, a fucking spider farmer, leaving the shit over and letting the spiders fuck on it? I said, let me play it. So on my birthday, he walked in the studio and I was playing it. And he goes, I'm so tired of telling you to put my fucking guitar down. He goes, God damn it, man. I'm like, dude, it's my birthday. Let me play it. He goes, bullshit. Let me see your driver's license. I showed it to him. He goes, well, damn, you're telling the truth. He goes, well, fuck it. Happy birthday. It's yours. I went, what? I was like, man, that's the coolest thing anybody's ever done, but I can't accept it, man. I said, I'll never get no sleep because I'll figure somebody trying to plot to kill me to take this guitar. I said, you could buy a house with that guitar. I said, that's what I plan on doing, you know, but not by selling the guitar.
You didn't take it?
Nope. He goes, you're the first motherfucker I ever gave guitar to that didn't take it. I'm like, well, it's just I would never get any sleep. It's too valuable, man. I can't. You just let me play the motherfucker, you know.
I wish I would have taken that gold top Les Paul he tried to give me, and then when I did,
well,
I got
you remember you guys did a podcast.
But he tried to give me that thing a bunch of times.
Yeah,
he tried to give me that guitar a bunch of times.
Y'all did a podcast with Steve Reynolds. He was talking about taking the gold album out of the thing and playing it on the record player. I was there for that. He tried to give me the gold record. I wouldn't take that either, but it was a Hank Williams record. He put the fucking needle in it. It was real scratchy, but it was a Hank Williams record. He goes, see, that's not Lynyrd Skynyrd. I'm like, man, that's crazy. I was like, that's fucking crazy shit. He goes, you want it? I'm like, well, I want my own. Just like Steve. I said, I want my own gold record, you know? I said, and looking back, I should have took it. I should have took the fucking, you know, the Strat, but I didn't. I just couldn't do it. That's just not me.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff he tried to give me. I wish I would have taken it.
Oh, man, he gave away so many fucking guitars, man. I mean, you know, somebody's got that Strat now. He gave away the black Strat with a telly neck, you know. He said he wanted that back, so that kind of gave me a clue that he'll probably get pissed off at me one day and want it back.
He got that back. Yeah, he gave that to Billy. He gave that to Billy Fender.
Right on. I don't know who it was.
Billy gave it back to him. Yeah.
But man, holy shit! What a nice guy. He's the kind of guy that would give you the shirt off his fucking back, man. You know, and then reach over and stomp the gas pedal and hope you crash to a fucking oak tree. You know.
Yeah, and kill you with while you wear the shirt.
Hey, let's go together. Come on, let's go out in flames. I'm like, damn, man. You know, but I miss him, man. He was an interesting fellow. One of the most interesting. You know, I mean, to tell you, man. I mean, the stories I could tell you, I'll probably tell you when we're not on the podcast. Can't repeat them here, but
well, I don't know. We could probably.
Well, you know, he's still got children.
He's got some stories I don't want to be told.
Yeah, there's stories that don't.
Yeah, I heard some. I don't want to hear
like Osaka, Japan. You know, that doesn't need to be.
Oh, you know what? You want to talk about Osaka, Japan?
No, we're not talking about Osaka.
No. I be quiet a minute here. I just got this tape when I was blabbering when you told me to be quiet. Look what I got in the mail. Lynyrd Skynyrd, Osaka, Japan, 1877, and then it's got Every Mother's Son, London, cool. 11/11/75.
That's one of my most favorite songs. Is Every Mother's Son. Man. I played that again. That's cool.
Craig, who's writing is that?
On the other side, it's got Lynyrd Skynyrd, Osaka, Japan, 1877 with the sound check. And then it's got London.
And that's a cassette?
Yeah, it's a cassette.
Man, have that put on
a CD. I just got it in the mail. I just got this in the mail.
Greg,
a friend of mine sent it to me that's had it for years.
Have it put on CD, man, so you'll have it.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not even gonna try to put it in a cassette player.
No,
put it on a digital format.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Steve
take
Reynolds-
it down to
Steve Reynolds
RJS
used
where
to-
I get my films done and have them transfer
during rehearsals with the
a
Alan
CD.
Collins band,
Yeah,
Steve Reynolds would record the rehearsals, and he had.
I
he had a
heard
cassette
some of
tape.
that stuff. I've
He
heard
put
some
it.
of
He
that
finally,
stuff.
I talked him into putting it on a CD, man, and he gave it to me, and it's it's lost somewhere in the house. But
Yeah,
man, it was awesome.
I've
Alan
heard.
talking about
I have heard
drinking
that. Yeah, I've
Alan
heard
talking
that.
about drinking. He don't wish this on his worst enemy.
Yeah, it was really it was
heartfelt,
surreal.
man. He was pouring his heart out, man. I was like, wow,
Craig,
Poor guy, man.
whose handwriting is that? You think?
don't know. They just
probably
said
the
that,
engineer, whoever recorded it.
yeah, Alan gave it to him and said, "Here, listen to this on your way home."
Cool.
And they did, and you were going to give it back and never did, and just sent it to me in the mail. And it's really cool. Yeah,
Craig, you've been over to Alan's house,
about
right?
trying to put it in a cassette player. I'm going to take it down and have it made.
I think Craig lived with Alan for a period of time.
Well,
I did, yeah. When he was, Alan Larkin had me staying there with him and to try to get him to quit drinking.
Yep, that's why I moved in.
Yeah,
but,
Alan.
You
Alan
knew that he kept the masters underneath the stairs, man. I couldn't believe that. All the Lynyrd Skynyrd masters were underneath the stairwell. I was like, what?
No shit.
Yeah, they should be in a fucking bank vault, man. What the fuck? They're all right here. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with them. I'm like, okay, fucking whatever, man.
So I wonder where they are now.
Who knows, man? I don't know. I have no clue.
Yeah, after Gary left, I pretty much moved in with Alan and stayed there all the way.
Well, when he moved to Jackson Hole, yeah,
all the way through well, after Gary left, I pretty much moved in with Alan at that point. Larkin wanted me to, and so I stayed there pretty much until all after the Alan Collins band and after he
must have just left right before I joined the band.
After we were in New York and he walked off stage and we went home, I just kind of he was really in bad shape at that time. He was really heavy into drugs. So I kind of
he wanted to have a new band with new players that nobody knew and have a new fresh start on shit and write some different stuff, but it just those addictions, man, they just wouldn't get off his back, man.
Well, that's when Billy and Leon went with Rocco Marshall and all those guys.
Rocco was a friend of mine. Billy was a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Billy Powell, he went to the Sanford Naval Academy, him and his brother Ricky in '69. Then I guess they went to Bowles and graduated, but that's right before they joined Skynyrd as roadies, man.
Is that a train?
Yeah, it sure is, man. I got to catch the train, man.
Is that the
Good
same?
to see you, Chad, man. I miss you, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
time, man.
We're at in Jacksonville. You live near the.
I live in Orange Park, man.
Orange Park.
Yep, where the rich folk live,
Yeah. Well,
right down the road from
I remember Craig telling me that when he I guess Alan and Gary got in the argument, and then they broke up, and then Craig didn't know what to do, and then Alan goes, "Well, aren't you leaving with Gary? And he your friend?" And then Craig said, "No, I don't have a friend anymore. I guess I'm your friend now."
I guess I'm your friend now.
Alan said, "What are you doing here? You're Gary's buddy." And I goes, "Well, Gary left, man. I need a new buddy."
I need a new buddy. Yeah, there you go. Hey, man. Yeah, I loved Alan, man. He treated me like a brother, man, and he was a good cat. He really was, man. He had a heart of gold, but he could be the wildest motherfucker you ever met in your life, man. I rode to the fucking airport on the back of a motorcycle.
He was.
I rode on the back of a motorcycle with him driving, man.
Oh,
we stopped at 8th Street Jack's Liquors, and he pulls in.
You're crazier than I am. I'd never get on the back of a motorcycle.
Man, we pull into Jack's Liquors. He gets a miniature, downs it, throws it into the window, takes a sip of Coke, puts his visor down, boom, off we go. We get to the airport. We had to pick up the Lincoln. And he goes, "You drive the Lincoln." He goes, "You drive the motorcycle. I'm going to ride the Lincoln." I said, "Okay." We get to the toll booth. And I noticed I'm beside him, and I noticed the car's leaking gas real bad, man. I mean, it's flooding out. And he goes through. He didn't even put money in the fucking toll, but he just ran it. And so I emptied my pockets, threw all the change in there, and caught up with him. I said, "Pull over, man. You're leaking gas." He goes, "8th Street Jack's Liquors," and he pulls off 8th Street Jack's Liquors. And I pull off. I catch up to him, and he's heading into the fucking Jack's Liquors. So I fucking park the bike, and I get some dirt from the medium thing there where the bushes are, and throw up under the car so it wouldn't explode. And next thing I hear is this Haji motherfucker. And I look over, and Alan's passed out on the out ramp of the door, and the door's smacking him in the fucking head, the automatic door. And I run over, and I said, "Hey," he goes, "I'm going to call the police." I said, "Man, don't do that, man. I got him, man. I got him." I picked him up and dragged him to the car. I said, "I need to use your phone." I called Larkin. I said, "Man, you got to get here and get Alan and get this fucking car out of here. It's leaking gas." I said, "This fucking guy that owns Jack's Liquors is about to call the cops on us." He goes, "I'll be right there." And he was there in like 5 minutes. And then he said, "I'll call a tow truck, take the bike home. I'll take Alan home." I said, "Okay, good." And that was that story. That was a trip.
What was wrong with the car?
But you
It was
should've-
leaking gas.
I don't know, man. It had a hole in the gas tank, and it was fucking leaking. I mean, big time. I think by the time the record got there, it was all gone. But I mean, it was flooding out. And I look over, man, and Alan's passed out on the mat when you go out, and the door's smacking him in the forehead. And the fucking Jack's Liquors owner was fucking screaming in Arabic or whatever the fuck he was talking. I was like, "Holy shit, man." I went up and picked Alan up and drug him to the car. I was like, "Holy shit, don't call the cops, man." Like, I need to use your phone,
And it
This
wasn't that
is
long
bullshit.
before that. You were on a motorcycle with him.
Yeah. Well, I drove the motorcycle home, and Larkin showed up a little after with Alan. We put him to bed. He was out of it. I was like, "Damn, man." Larkin,
When do you
I said,
think
"Man,
when was the last time you think you saw Alan?
it was at his house. He was I went to see him, man, and he was already paralyzed. He was, sitting in his Barca lounger, and I was there was a table next to that where his cigarettes and ashtray were and shit. And then there was another chair on the other side, right at the bar thing.
Is that picture that you're in?
Yeah, he's in the Barca lounger there, but it wasn't this time specifically. And he goes, "Hey, man, hand me a cigarette." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, they're right there. Just reach over and grab them." He goes, "Everybody that comes around here does what I tell them to do." I said, "That's why you're in a fucking wheelchair, because you won't fucking help yourself." I said, "Fuck you, man. If you want a cigarette, you reach for it." And he grabbed it. He goes, "Man, you're an asshole." I'm like, "Yeah, but man, you're not going to get out of that fucking wheelchair having other people do shit for you,
Yeah, I think Craig kind of told him the same thing.
We used to throw stuff at people all the time. You go to Alan's house, you're always throwing.
Oh yeah, man.
Give me a cigarette. You throw a cigarette. Give me a joint. You throw a joint. You never passed anything. You just always threw everything at everybody.
Yeah. He just wanted
Those
to
people
test you,
that-
see
those
what you
people
do.
at
He'd do that
the
shit just to
Miami-
see what you would do, just to see how you'd react.
Those people at the Miami Project said that Alan would have been a good person
Spokesman?
that,
Yeah.
that they could have cured, but
Yeah.
Alan didn't want to participate.
He told me that they put like electrodes on his feet and they shocked him and his fucking legs popped up. He goes, "It gave him hope." He said, "But it was, it's just too little." He goes, "Man, it's not enough." I was like, "God, man, you can't give up, dude."
He
You're
went
never gonna get out
down
of
there,
the wheelchair,
but
man.
they wouldn't let him drink or do drugs, so he
No,
left.
fuck no.
That's
And
why
he
left.
probably acted up with them, man. And they said, "Get the fuck out of here."
If I remember right, I thought he actually that he could, with the weight stuff, he could move a little bit. If I remember right, when they pick you up,
I don't
your
know.
feet, you kind of get your feet up underneath you.
Last time I saw him, he was like, "Hand me the cigarettes," and they're like, 6 inches away. I'm like, "Reach over, lean over, and grab them yourself." "Man, everybody that comes over here does what I tell them." I'm like, "Yeah, and that's why you're in a fucking wheelchair, because you won't fucking help yourself." I was like, "Fuck
I
you."
told him.
You want
I
a
told
cigarette,
him,
grab
get
it.
up out of that chair.
That's what I told him. I said, "You want a
I
fucking
said,
cigarette?"
get up
reach
out
over
of
and
that
grab it."
chair, damn it, Alan. And he said,
Heal
"I
that foul
can't."
buttermilk spirit. Yeah. But God bless him, man. He
But he still had a good attitude while he was in the
yeah,
chair.
man.
From
Yeah.
what I hear,
Yeah. I mean, he was still Alan Collins, man.
Yeah,
He wasn't gonna change.
anybody else I think would not have been able to handle it. But Alan,
No.
he's
No.
such a crazy dude, man. Being in a wheelchair.
Alan handled him being in a wheelchair like a tragedy that he's been handling his whole life. You know, you just kind of, you don't beat
just
up,
roll with it.
You kind of just go roll with it, you know, and that's the way he handled his own tragedy.
But I mean, the times that I went over to visit him, man, I loved seeing him and I loved talking to him and tried to motivate him. But, you know, it's like he told me, you can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves, man. And
I think he got ornery. I think he got ornerier with people when he was paralyzed than when he wasn't. Well, he was a lot more joking.
Yeah,
he was a lot more joking with you and
for him, man. And,
do stupid
you know, everybody
shit.
want to please him and shit. Everybody want to please him and help him. And I told him, I said, man, they're right there, motherfucker. You can, if you just lean to the right 1 inch, you can grab them. You know?
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm like, no, fuck you, man. I said, you ain't gonna get out of that wheelchair. You keep having people do shit for you. You know.
Hello.
Do it yourself. You know?
Yeah, with some therapy, maybe he would have been able to overcome that, you know. But
who
like
knows,
you say,
man? He tried to play guitar a little bit, man, and he could barely make a chord. But I said, you know, with therapy, man, and you fucking trying hard, you'll be able to play again, man. You might be able to walk.
I heard him playing guitar, and he was strumming chords, but he wasn't doing anything major.
Yeah, well, no licks, no Alan Collins leads, boy. And those motor skills got fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I got upset with him that he was playing, not because you know, I was pissed that he was playing. It's because he was always hand me that. Can you turn remember that big screen TV that he had?
Yeah.
With the rear projected things going at
man.
it. You know, turn the channel for me, and you walk in the next day and he's in there playing a guitar. You know, it's like, what the fuck is
he always had guitars around him, man, but it's like I don't know, man. It was hard on his spirit, I think. You know, he just I don't know. I think he sort of gave up. And when he was supposed to produce my album on August 16, 1989. And Larkin called me during a production meeting. He said, Alan's in the hospital. He's got pneumonia. And he never came out, you know. And he said, he told me to tell you to do a good job and rock and roll. I'm like, okay, cool. And that was the last I ever heard anything about Alan Collins until Bobby Ingram called me to tell him he had passed away.
Did you go see him in the hospital?
No.
So you
I was on my honeymoon one time when he got in that car wreck, and Larkin called me at the Paradise Cafe in Grayton Beach. They brought a phone over to me, so you got an emergency call, and it was Larkin. He said, Alan been in a car wreck and his girlfriend got killed. And I said, well, fuck, I'll be right there. He goes, you're on your honeymoon. I said, man, fuck all that. I said, tell me where he's at. He goes, you stay there. And he hung up. I'm like, fuck, man. I tried to. Old lady wouldn't let me use her car. Nobody would give me a ride. I was wanting to get the fuck out of there and get to Jacksonville, man, and go see Alan, but nobody would fucking do it. You know?
I was out with
that was his dad. He told you to stay there. I'm like, man, fuck what he told me, you know.
I was out with Marshall Tucker, and I was actually in the equipment truck, me and John Coulter, and we were down there near Jacksonville and heard that Alan got in a car wreck and he was in the hospital, and me and John went there, and the Marshall Tucker band equipment truck and went in, and Larkin was there, and they didn't want to let me in, but then Larkin, because it was like immediate family only, you know, but then I got in, and then Alan was laying there, and he was laying there, goes, damn, Alan, what did you do this time? And he just shrugged, just kind of went like this, went like that, you know, and just, you know, it's just like, you know, like, you know, but yeah, that was the last I saw him.
Yeah. But he lives in my heart, you know, I mean, he always will. I mean, I remember all the times we shared together, man, and all the stories he'd tell me, and, you know, the advice he would give me, and, you know, and writing songs.
Don't suck.
Hey, don't suck. That's right.
Don't suck.
Quit stealing my licks. I'll never forget that. Quit stealing my licks. I said, I quit stealing your licks, motherfucker, when you quit stealing Eric Clapton's licks. He busted out laughing. He says, you got me. I'm like, you damn right, motherfucker. I'm sorry you're an influence.
Chad said he used to say that to Tanner when he'd go up to bat. Don't suck. Yell,
really?
Don't. So when I was down there,
that's what I said.
When I was down there at his baseball game down in Florida, when I was down there, he went up to bat and I yelled, don't suck.
That's right, man. don't suck.
Hey, that's like when Mike got up the stage at Whitey's fish camp. He goes, well, that didn't suck.
Yeah, man. And it didn't. It was all right,
You know,
man. It was,
Don't
you know,
best advice he ever gave me. Don't suck.
that's right. Don't suck. That's words to live by.
Really, that's great.
So, Mike, what did you think about down there at Whitey's? Wasn't that a really cool time?
It really was, man. It was. Joe Crimp had called me. I wasn't even going to go, man. I figured it'd be a circus, so I said, "Nah, I'll go visit Gary's grave after everybody leaves town." I was just getting in bed.
You were
Joe
the
Crimp
guy
called me.
that Joe was on the phone with when I was at Joe's house. Then he was.
Well, he said he was down at Whitey. He said, "Come on down and have a beer, man. Let's hang out." I said, "Okay." So I got dressed and went down there, and that's when I met everybody. I couldn't believe all the people that were there. You know, Big Lou. Fuck, I haven't seen Big Lou. I told him, I said, "I guess we're gonna have to start calling you Little Lou because you lost so many fucking
Yeah,
people."
same thing I told
He goes,
him too.
"I'll whip your ass if you do." I was like, "Yeah, the Big Lou. You're Big Lou." That was
Yeah.
funny, man. You know, and meeting Craig Reed and seeing Chad after 40 years, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Oh, you had never
You know?
met Craig before?
No, I knew of him, but I didn't know him. You know, it's like he had left right before I joined the band. You know, he was out with Mark Stugger, and you know, I just never thought about it. You know, and I didn't put two and two together with Craig Reed and Chad Reed because nobody ever said anything. So I was like, "Oh, well, you know, I didn't know." Because, buddy, when Chad reached over and tapped you on the back and said, "Dad," you could have knocked me over with a feather. I was like, "What? Dad? What the fuck are you talking about?" Oh my God, man. You can't write this shit for a movie and make people believe it, man. I'm gonna tell you, that's bizarro. I was glad to meet you, man. I was, you know, and you too, Griff, man.
Yeah,
Yo, rocket scientist, you.
I know. I saw you walking around there, and then I saw you get up on stage and start playing. I said, "Damn, that dude can freaking play guitar," you know.
Well,
I don't think anybody was expecting to get up on stage and play that night.
No,
I don't
man.
think anybody was.
I was just going down to have a beer with Joe and talk to him, and you know, say hello to a few people. That was about it. But man, it turned into a.
Did you play with those guys before? That you were
the
playing
guy
with?
that Craig Kujay, we played in a band together with Dave Lubeck's brother, Paul Axtell. We had a band called Second Shot, and we played together.
Because
a good guitar player.
What I was hearing musically up there, it sounded like everybody had practiced together, and I mean, it's
songs we've been playing for 45, 50 years, man. I think we should know it by now. You know, so.
We needed to have gotten Joe Crimp up there. We needed to get Joe Crimp up there.
We had Sammy Bonacore up there. He was a drummer in the Artemis Pile band. I mean, and I just met him that day. I've been trying to hook up with him for about a year or two, and you know, through a mutual friend, and I met him that day.
Who was the drummer playing?
Sammy Bonacore.
That guy was good.
He's a badass, man. Are you kidding me? He
was that guy. Yeah.
He was a drummer with Artemis Pile in the Artemis Pile band. You know, I mean, come on.
Was he really?
Yeah, I wouldn't make this shit up. You can't lie about it.
I knew that guy was good. He was sitting back there. He was having the time.
He played all night long, man. I went to tap him on the back. His shirt was wet. I said, "Damn, Sammy." He goes, "Is there any more drummers in the fucking place?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, Joe Crimp, but I think he's kind of, you know."
Yeah, he didn't want to get up there. Joe, I wish Joe would have got up there. That'd have been great. That'd have topped it all.
Man, that's cool. Joe Crimp, man. He shared Hell House with Skynyrd, man.
Oh yeah,
Joe. He's the one that brought the horses out. He's the one that
him
brought
and
the
Gary
horses
were
out,
big, good friends.
Yeah,
Joe
man.
And Gary were
they
good.
were horse buddies, music buddies. You know.
Joe's the one. Joe's the one that got the Crimp's one that got me to get up and on the microphone the second time and remind everybody why we were there.
Yeah, while we were there. That was cool. That was cool.
Well, Steve Reynolds was there too.
Gary Rossi.
Yep.
Yeah, Steve could have got up and played.
Jimmy Withers was there, man. He's a good guy. He's Gene Odom's buddy. He's my buddy, you know. Jimmy Withers.
Jimmy's my dog. I like Jim.
Yeah, man.
Jimmy's
my dude. Jimmy's my
hard
dude.
Boy.
Jimmy went around and picked up all the fat women and brought them over to take a picture of me with them.
Yeah, he told me I could come to the Porch of Doom.
Y'all got to come down to the Porch of Doom, man. Grill some meat, man. That guy can grill, boy. Ain't shit.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Whitey's, I guess. Maybe we're gonna try to do that again next year if we can.
That'd be cool,
together,
man.
aren't we,
Whitey's,
Griff?
man. I've been going to Whitey's since I was a
Everybody
kid,
wants
man.
us
I
to
think
do it every year, I think.
my dad was in the Navy with Whitey, man. So he started taking me there in the early 60s, man. It was just a little shack. I think it's out where the bait shop is. That used to be Whitey's. You go up there and get a sandwich, catfish sandwich or something. Hush puppies.
And then it burned down, right?
Well, Whitey's, the club burned down, I think, right before Artimus Pyle played there. And then they rebuilt it, and Artimus played there. And then Molly Hatchet did the 50th anniversary of Whitey's.
Well, Craig, it looks like we're running about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, you was just reading my mind. Why don't we just do a kind of a recap of what we've gone over? I mean, what we're gonna do here in the future here with you going to the Muscle Shoals here.
Yeah, this weekend I'm heading up to Muscle Shoals.
Up and coming events on the Stoned Roadie show.
Hopefully I'll have it all edited by the next podcast, but we'll probably do it in 2 or 3 parts or something.
Cool. Griff, you gonna run into Jay Johnson up there?
Yeah, actually I got his phone number and Tammy asked me to call him, but I think I'm just gonna hope I run into him when I'm there. But yeah.
Well, man, tell Jay I said hello, man. We played together. We did a show in Albuquerque with Southern Rock's Finest, man.
Oh, cool.
He's a cool dude, man.
They're not on tour. I thought
he's actually a realtor.
I don't know. That's Phil Stokes. That's down in Tampa, man.
I thought Skinny Molly was on.
Oh, Skinny Molly. That's a different band. I'm talking about Southern Rock's Finest. Phil Stokes and
no, I think
Jay's playing with Skinny Molly now.
Yeah, they're touring right now.
Yeah, Jay's and Skinny Molly. I think. I
don't think they are. I think.
I don't know.
I think they're back now. But
Phil Stokes from Southern Rock's Finest, he was in Pure Prairie League. Amy, what you want to do? That's Phil Stokes. He was a bass player when they, did that. But
that was Vince Gill too.
Yep. That was back in the day.
Alan loved that song, man. Alan sing that song every time Amy walked by.
That's
every time Amy
I heard Alan play Mark Knopfler's Romeo and Juliet on guitar and sing it. I couldn't believe it. I said, man, I didn't know you could sing. He goes, I don't sing. He goes, but I said, well, you sang the shit out of that song.
You got to meet Mark Knopfler?
No, man. Alan Collins played Mark Knopfler's song Romeo and Juliet on guitar, on acoustic, and sang it. I go, man, I didn't know you could sing. I said, you've been breaking my balls making me sing this whole time. What the fuck? He could sing good. He had a good voice.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Blew me away, man. I was like, holy shit, dude. And that Romeo and Juliet, that's not an easy song to play, man. And to sing at the same time. There's a lot of finger picking and, it's intricate,
Well, hey, Mike, you still got your guitar handy?
Shit, man. Is the fish waterproof?
Can you break another lead for us on the exit?
All right. Let me see. I got these damn earbuds. Hold on. Well, that's all we're gonna get out of that because I don't want to get sued. Let me see.
You don't want to get sued. So, Mike, show us your rig, man. I know you got a Marshall over there. Let's see it.
It's just a little bitty tuning room Marshall.
Is that a little old tube amp, is it?
Yeah, a little old tube amp. And
how about that? How about that axe? What kind of axe you got there?
This is a pine top, man. This is a hard rock maple Strat. The guy took a template of a Les Paul, a Paul Reed Smith, and a Stratocaster. He cut it out on Georgia hard rock pine. And he got a flame maple neck and put on it. And I don't know if you see the back of it, but it's flamey. And he put Les Paul pickups in it. And it's a killer guitar, man. Scott
sounds
Saunders.
Great. Got a great sound,
Scott
man.
Saunders, man. I got to get a hold of him, man. That's my buddy.
Mike, we appreciate you coming on. I think everybody's going to agree, man. Those are some damn good Alan Collins stories. You know, there's so many Alan Collins stories. It just depends on who you run into, you know.
Yeah, man. I was blessed to be, you know, just in his life for just a little while, man. You know, some guy told me, you know, you were an Alan Collins. Where's the proof? I'm like, man, it never made it out of the studio, man. You know, MCA dropped us. That was the end of that. You know, but I was there.
Well, we'll have to have you back on and just, you know, polish up on your next batch of stories.
Yeah, man.
And Craig,
I'm gonna have to write you a new song, Craig, for your Stone Roadie show, man.
I like the one we got the songwriter for our current one here coming up, don't we?
Yeah, he's gonna come on and sing it for us. You know, he's only been playing guitar for like a year, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, and he wrote that, you know, that little
that's a cool
ditty.
song.
It's a good song, man. You know, we couldn't believe it when I heard it.
I love
you
the
know?
end of it. The Road Stony show.
Yeah. Bill Major. We're gonna have him on here. So
cool,
I guess
man.
we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We got to.
Griff, what do you call that thing behind you? The ship thing. What do you call that?
Ship. Oh, that's that's what they signal the engine room. The telegraph. They signal the engine room.
Yeah, there's a specific name for that. I can't think of it.
It's a telegraph, I think, is what they call it. But
Is that what
that thing's just solid brass, and somebody
commented, man, that's cool. That somebody commented. I love that thing behind Griff. They said, what do they call that? And goes, God, there's a name for it, but I can't think of it.
I got too much crap. I got all kinds of stuff here I need to start getting rid of. You know, it's just a bunch of collectible stuff that just collects dust is all it does. I got to get rid of some stuff. But all right, well, Chad, give Tanner a 20 and send him on down to the massage parlor. And I tell you what, I'll pay you back.
I was gonna say, you paying me back?
He'll get a handshake for that. But
tell Tanner happy birthday, Chad.
All right, man.
That's cool, man.
We'll do, guys.
Yeah, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tanner. Happy birthday to you. And that was podcast number 70 of the Stone Roadie Show. All the skin information y'all want to know is on the Stone Roadie Show. And for now, happy trails to you until we meet again. And may the good Lord take a liking to you. And we're going to call it a wrap.
Cool deal, man. That's cool.
All right, y'all. I got to get going.
Okay, later.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then. Yeah, the Road Stony Show.